All right. Hello, everybody. Let me get my mic here. All right. Testing 1, 2, 3. Let's see if we can hear myself here. Hopefully I'm not too loud. I think we're all right. Okay. So we're waiting for a few people here. So we'll just stand by a minute and wait. We're hitting on 1 p.m. Pacific time. What's going on here? Okay. All right. We will wait a minute because I know we are expecting, I think, at least 3 or 4 people here. So I really don't want to have much to talk about until then. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, it is 1 p.m. Pacific. So what I will do here, let me see here. Let me mess with this for a minute. All right. All right, here, stand by real quick, please. We just got a couple, maybe another minute here. And I'm just checking the settings on a couple things here. Oh boy. Okay. I would just pause this recording until everybody got here, but then I don't think anybody can enter. So. Okay, so we got that. All right. Well, it is definitely after 1 p.m. Pacific. Not sure where everybody is. So what I will do is I'm just going to continue because I am recording this. Actually, I'm going to exit. That kills this. And then I'm going to... No, I don't think I can do that. Okay. All right, folks. Sorry for those watching the video here because this will be broadcast on the website, topflighttrades.com, as well as YouTube. So as far as introductions, my name is Eric from TopFlight Trades. Here to do the Saturday weekend preview review of last week's action. Look at some of the stocks that we entered, some of the stocks that made our watch list, as well as the premium picks list. And then we're going to look ahead at next week. So that's pretty much what we're doing today. And I know I've communicated with a few of our members who will be here today, hopefully with cameras and mics, but maybe just in chat. And I know we're going to kind of address a couple things, some of the stocks that they wanted to look at, may have had questions on, as well as addressing the other issues. So, all right, I see we have one viewer here now. So I'll just wait a second. So that's pretty much the plan today. As far as the premium picks list, we have a few new ones in this last week. We'll kind of go over those, as well as a few that made the list, but I did not post yet because of certain technical setups I didn't really like to see yet. So I'll kind of go over that. And then what I've done is I've also expanded the watch list. I normally kind of hold my watch list close, but you know, there's a lot of good stocks out there, and what I provide at Top Flight Trades is I don't necessarily tell you what to do. I got a system that picks some awesome companies, awesome stocks, and I tell you where I would play it, where I put my stops, where I put my entry. But you know, frankly, if you're to do that and follow along, you're going to pretty much enter at a different spot, never exactly where I am. And you're going to probably trade it differently anyways. It's just based on your trading style. So basically what I like to do is, you know, highlight these stocks and then, you know, perhaps guide you on where I think a good entry is. And most often I do play these stocks. And when I do play them, I let you know as well. But I don't play every one. Just because the amount of capital that they place on each trade, I simply don't have enough capital. If I were to have like 10 stocks meet the premium picks list this week, it doesn't mean that I have an extra, you know, $15,000 laying around available capital right now because I'm in other stocks. So, but what I decided to do too, though, is I'm going to on TopFlightTrades.com, I am going to maintain and post the watch list. Now in the watch list, there's a lot of good stocks in there as well. But the premium list is designed for me to post the ones that I would really, you know, put everything on, ones that I really am confident in their setups, confident in the company and that type of thing. And the watch list, again, my watch list is based initially on what I find is the top 200 stocks out there. So really right there, you got the best to begin with. And then, you know, pretty much finding the right setup is important. So I'll be doing that as well. And then also we're going to go over a few, well, we call them penny stocks. I don't know if you want to define penny stocks as under $5, and these are penny stocks. They're not true pennies. But I was asked to try to come up with a list of a few that had similar setups that I liked. And I was able to find 4 of them. And again, I don't play them. I don't really recommend it, but if that's your style of play, you know what, I can find some as well that might be able to have the right setup that you might find attractive. So, all right. Well, we have one person here. If someone's here and they want to say hello, you'll hopefully be one of the 3 to 4 people I know will be here, and I can at least I've talked to you already, and I can address some of the issues that we've discussed if you'd like. If I know who you are, I'll all right. Well, the chat's working anyways, so maybe it's somebody I don't know. If I don't know who you are, welcome. My name's Eric. So I guess I'll jump on in and get going with this. Today is Saturday, January 10th. Again, I'm doing a stock review of last week, looking at the watch list, premium picks, some of the plays, as well as looking ahead to next week. So I'm going to jump on over and do the screen share right now. Hey, and also we got football today. Hey, who do we have there?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Ryder, how's it going?
Good, man. So it was my fault. Yeah.
What's that? I don't know who you are. Welcome.
Oh, no, that I had to download the plugin.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
Sorry, I've got you going in the other window not live and this window live. It's really terrible. I apologize to everyone.
Oh, that's all right. So is there much of a delay? I can hear a delay of the playback, but you can hear me all right?
Yeah.
All right.
Hang on. There we go. There we go. Now I think I'm just with you live.
All right. Well, good to meet you finally. I know we've chatted.
You too. I'm happy to sit back in the background. I just did want to say hello, and I'm very interested to hear what you have to say about penny stocks.
Okay. All right. Well, okay, I'm just going to go through kind of a few things here, and I did address, I do have a few penny stocks. One of the other members, Naor, had asked if I could pull a few together he wanted to play, and like I said, I usually don't play them. They're not really penny stocks, so I think they're priced between $2 and $5, I think. But if you consider penny stocks being under $5, a lot of people classify it as that. So either way, I think they're good setups. But so all right, well, good. I'm glad you made it.
Me too.
So is there anything that do you have anything you'd like addressed right away or anything, or should I just go down my list here? Or?
Well, this last week is my first real week of trading, so it's been interesting, but that's kind of a whole nother deal. I may want to ask your opinion on something that I've got my money in now, something that I'm thinking about next week, but mostly I think I'm going to try and watch the stocks that you have prepared to talk about and see if I can draw any parallels between those and the ones I've either got my money in or want to try and put my money in.
Okay, and if you also wanted to talk offline, just between you and I too later, if there's something, we can do that as well. This is just the one that my weekend update, but I'm definitely around. I have the Seahawks game here a little while later. That's why I had to bump this up, because it's playoff time and I'm in Seattle.
Yeah.
And so we got the Seahawks today. So my afternoon after 4 o'clock is pretty much booked. So thanks for adjusting.
Yeah, man.
So, all right. Very well. I'm going to jump over to screen share here.
Cool.
All right. I think we. Okay. So I can't see I only have one monitor on this machine right here. So if you chatted or something, I don't see it. Just signal to me.
Telepathically.
Yeah. All right. So here's the S&P. Boy, it looked like we're going to get this bounce off this area here, and we started to, but Friday we had a big red day, close the week out. So hopefully we hold above the moving average there. I'm still optimistic we're going to come back up to these levels, but of course with the markets anything can happen. One thing I always mention, I think, is 75-80% of stocks will follow the general market direction. So it's really important to keep an eye on the markets. Of course, you have some stocks that are strong that won't have a similar price pattern as this, so they might trade sideways on these dips, and there are a few that are like that, and that's always a good sign. But again, I kind of think about looking at the markets each day on what the market sentiment is and what the world markets are like. And if the markets are down, I kind of think of it as checking the weather report before you go to the beach. And if it's big storms coming, you're not going to go to the beach. And some days like that, it's good to kind of sometimes wait on the sidelines. And of course, the overall market action also, affects almost all stocks, and so that affects the performance on those as well. And so sometimes that can delay entry a little bit. But as far as checking the markets each day, what I do in the mornings, I get up and I check the futures and see what we're looking at, and I'll look at the world markets, how they closed before our open, kind of get an idea. And I don't look into it too greatly. Certainly if there's any kind of major economic news or political news that could affect the markets, I take a look at that, but I don't dig in too much. If the futures are red, then I'm pretty cautious, and I'll keep a closer eye on it. If we're green, then I know we got some setups happening. So anyway, so here's the S&P. So the Nasdaq's going to look pretty much the same here, if I can get the chart to load. And then we have the Dow. So I'm definitely hoping we come up and hit these new levels. I'm hoping that just Friday was just kind of a down day. We had the good economic unemployment numbers. The jobs report came out Thursday, and then the unemployment on Friday, I believe, and the day started green and it just turned. So we'll keep an eye on that. And there's one thing back in the S&P. I was talking to somebody else about this, and if it loads here, okay. So here's the S&P. So you can see just what's back here was December 15th. No, that's the October dip we had, and then we had the December. We're kind of been all over the place. This fall, and winter here. Getting a little choppy here. And certainly that can affect a lot of things, but if you go back and you look at the weekly chart, it's important to remember the trend. You can get confused and you look too closely at the charts and you think, the market's not going anywhere, there's a lot of uncertainty. And this is always a good reminder to go back and look at the weekly chart. And stand back and look at this. We are still heading up, and there's play in there. But it's a good thing to keep in mind, and it's also good to, when the markets start to turn a bit, we'll definitely see that. And if this starts to turn down a bit, this is back in the October. Yeah, this is October. This got a lot of people riled up, and this is on the weekly, and we had that super bounce here. It's just corrected real well and had some awesome gains. Look at that. That's 6 weeks of green there on the weekly. So anyways, this is just kind of my thing I like to do. If I kind of wonder how the market's doing, I'll stand back and look at the weekly or even the monthly. It's just incredible, and it's a good reminder. But it's good to keep an eye on things. So
yeah, I remember you mentioning that in one of your previous videos, and it wasn't something I'd ever really thought before, but it seems to be a big indicator.
Yes, somebody pointed it out to me, and it just put it back in focus, you know, because, you know,
Yeah.
when you look at the markets each day, especially, you know, you'd think, oh, it's all over the place, but, you know, which way is the, you know, you look at the long term, I mean, which way is the ship headed, you know? And if you were to like just look over the bow at the waves, you know, you'd think that the world's crashing and it's up and down, up and down, but if you, that's just the normal action. If you stand back and look at the horizon, you can see that you're on
Yeah.
target, hopefully, so. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to look at the some of the new additions to the premium list here. So this was added, when was this, yesterday, day before? UTHR, United Therapeutics. Essentially what we have here is an ascending triangle pattern. It's not very strong trend line at the bottom. Well, it's strong, but it's not very ascending. It's kind of flat. Yeah, steep.
Yeah.
But it is. So, but it also defines this nice channel that we're playing right here. So, looking back at, it was off after this candle here is at that close when this made my list, and so what I want to see was it to close up above that line. We didn't really get it there. We'll kind of see how we do next week. Again, you know, how the markets are going to do next week could really dictate whether or not we get into that area and trigger this above the 129 here that I want to see where I would buy, and it breaks up above the moving average there as well. Now there's not a lot of room to play here if this were to go up to this channel. I mean, it only goes up to 135. So
if you could get in, if we had a good strong week next week, where would you want to try and get out?
Yeah, it's, well, my first target would be up here at 135.
Right.
I mean, that's only what, 4%? Forget my brain math.
Yeah.
It's not a very strong play right there, but I mean, and we already are kind of already halfway up in the channel, but what I'm expecting is longer term this to break out. So even if I didn't play this right now, I would wait till we got above.
It's on your radar.
Yeah. Well, it made my list. I definitely think it's going to come up. What it could do is come up 135, 134 area, come back down, and then go. Again, I mostly play, you know, swing. I don't necessarily always day trade, but you know, this could come up and correct a bit and then take off. But usually when these things will break out of this pattern, they don't always do it close up to the breakout area. It's often down below here, then it just gaps up and it's gone. So it's always good to kind of, if you'll see these patterns, you'll notice that they do that. I mean, it's, you think it's down here and, oh, we got a few days before I really look at this, and then it gets to here and then it gaps up and it's just gone. You're like, oh, I should have played that. So yeah, so I like that one. And that's where I'm looking for. I would look for it, you know, what I would look for is for it to close above 129. Now, what you're saying, well, you might say, well, you know, we're losing a little bit of ground in there as well. But on a lot of these, you know, again, I like the stock to kind of prove itself. And if I set that area, if this turns next week and this bounces off it and goes the opposite direction, well, then good. I didn't waste my time. It never hit my entry target, kind of a thing.
Right.
So I just want a little bit more movement. You know, I kind of, it's like, you know, with a treat, making the dog jump a little bit. You know, come to me. So. Because I've had too many of these, you know, you get in early, you know, right away, and it turns on you, and they obviously do that. And so it's like, what can I do to not get in too early? And so what I've learned is just, I just want it to give me a little bit more, show a little strength, and and it seems to work. It stops me.
You wouldn't lose much, but still, you would have wasted having that capital tied up and settling and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And then the stop too. The lower you are on this channel, so you can set your stop lower. If you were to play it all the way up here on this breakout, well, I don't set my stop any more than 8%. But let's say if I were to buy right here, where would I put my stop? Well, I mean, you could do the math, but I mean, ultimately, I'd want it underneath some support. Well, that could be pretty far down here. And then what if it turns and you know, you're just in the red? But if you play it down here at this channel, just put it underneath. You could put it underneath support. So I'm looking up, you know, about where this red line is. You know, and if it breaks out of this channel here and starts heading down, well, you're going to get out because that thing could just go. So, all right. Well, that's UTHR. Next one is ROP. What?
No, it looks interesting.
Oh, okay. I was like, well, no, what? Okay, Roper Industries. Um, this made the list the same day. Hey, where's my chart? What's it doing? Okay. Um, and so it's kind of hard to see. But you can see you have the darker red line here. So where I had it is right at the top of this line is where I want to see it close above. Well, it opened above it, and then it went down. So
Yeah.
technically, I would not have entered this yet. I mean, it
Right.
opened above there, but see, when you look at a stock and when you determine when you want to get in, there's obviously a difference between opening and closing above a target. I want it to finish the day and close above the target. You know,
Yeah.
it can open up, but if it just turns around and declines greatly, this may not be a good play.
Yeah.
So, anyways, what I'm hoping on this one, I'd want to see it close above this, and that's where I would set my entry above the line I had determined here. And see now it's opened above it and then turned. We had the bad day. So next week, we'll see how we do next week. Maybe it might close above that line. So
Yeah, it might, but they're fighting those long wicks, you know?
yeah, I know. Look at them.
Yeah.
The other thing about this too I like is this channel here. Let me zoom out. Um, so um, so here's this support and resistance here, and
Yeah.
again, I always emphasize it when I draw my support and resistance. When I first started with this, I always thought it was exact. I always thought support and resistance was always down to the penny, and it really isn't. You know, obviously the price action moves all over the place. But when I draw mine, I stick with the bodies, and sometimes they'll kind of just average through because obviously the market action never stops always at the exact cent. Sometimes it does when you're at like $100 mark. You know, stock will go up and there'll be a ton of orders at 100. And it won't get past it. But anyways, this is the channel I see nice up here. So up here, resistance, you can call that 160, close enough. We've obviously gone through it, rounded a bit. And then down here, so what I would like to see, I'd like to see it come up. And I never set my target exactly at 160. I like to put it underneath it a little bit because there's a lot of people that'll be shooting for 160, and I want to, if I reach it, I want to sell while people are still pushing. Yeah, sell into strength, So, and I'm willing to give up 0.5% or whatever. But
Absolutely, if it gets you a clean exit.
yeah. So, and then of course this could continue further. That would be even better. So,
Are you a scaler at all, Eric? Or
not always. In my mind I am, but I don't always practice it.
yeah.
I definitely support it. Usually what I most commonly do is I play more stocks, and I'll have my hand in six, usually no more than 6 stocks at one time. But if I were to play a real true winner in a company that I just absolutely see, I'm looking at GILD with that. I might scale in some more on GILD.
Yeah.
But I might not do that for another week or two. I think GILD's a really strong company, and I'm willing to reinvest more in it. But a lot of these
that dog is jumping like crazy. You got to give it the treat.
Yeah. But some of these, I like to play other stocks. I mean, I could focus on one stock and scale in or out, and I suppose if I had another 50 grand, I probably would. But
Yeah.
no, I don't know. I just have too much fun picking and playing, but yeah, I definitely support it. I mean, I think it's definitely a good thing, and when the stock starts moving, you can start scaling in, and you're gonna find more gain, and yeah. There's also some good books. I'm trying to think which books. There's a few books. I put on the website all the books, not all of them, but my favorite top 6 or 8 books on there.
Uh-huh.
I changed the menu. If you go up to menu, you'll see there's a tab there. It says books, and then I put all the books there. And so there's a couple from Van Tharp.
Yes.
Yeah, you know him. Okay.
Yeah, well, he wrote the intro to this book, The Way of the Turtle, which was fine. It was actually a good book on investing. But Van Tharp, there was something just about the way he talked about it. I was like, I need to read this guy.
Yeah, he covers psychology, and it's so key. Yeah, that's an awesome book. And then there's William O'Neill in there, and Jesse Livermore. He traded back in the 20s and 30s.
Now,
very,
did
very
he end up in jail, or am I thinking of someone else?
Did he go to jail?
No. Okay. There's
No.
another. There was another. His was one of the names. There was another name of a big time trader who ended up a very successful trader who ended up in jail that I read recently. Just don't worry.
No, I don't remember that.
Okay. No,
um,
I'm sure it wasn't him.
his life kind of fell apart. I think his son committed suicide. He lost all of his fortune a couple of times, and he kept getting it back. But yeah, it's a real interesting story. So
Yeah. Jesse Livermore.
yeah. All right. I'm going to shoot real quick through a few others. I'd posted this as well. There was also on my system had pulled up 5 other stocks that would have made the premium list, but I simply do not like their setups. Here's one of them, TSM. Okay, and it made the list not on this red candle. It was after this green candle. But I don't really see much room here. And what we kind of have here is a descending triangle.
Yeah.
You know, and those are bearish. And so really if I look at this, you can see this line here. So where are we going? Maybe just up to here, just a buck, you know, if that.
And what would you think about if you do see a bounce up there? Would you think about trying to short up there?
If I were to short this, what I would want to see this is hit this, come back down here, and then break through.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of an
Right. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not really much room here looking at this trend line. Now, if I check this in a week and it's above it and it's gone, I'm pointing at the screen with my finger. If it goes above this high here, well then it changes it. See, let's say 22. If we were to break above that, well then I'd say, okay, it's a different ball game. But right now, the first spot I'm looking at is right here, coming up and hitting 22 and bouncing off, and then you really have a descending triangle, and that's bearish, and that could fail. So I just didn't like this, and there's really no, looking at the risk reward here, there's really no room for it to go. And if I did play it off this candle here, let's say at this close, I'd have to put my stop down here. I'd put it just underneath the 200-day moving average, and it just didn't like the risk reward on it.
Yeah, and look at all the red candles in that second bounce as opposed to that first bounce. That first bounce is mostly green. That second one is just so much red.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. So I didn't have much confidence to put this on the list, even though it made my criteria. I just didn't like it. And there's plenty more out there. Another one is MCO, kind of the same. I kind of drew how I would possibly play it. But again, you got this moving average right up here, and you have that trend line that I drew here. And so I see that as a lot of resistance there. So there's really not much room to grow.
No.
To go. So I would like.
You calculate risk-reward ratios? That's awesome.
Yeah, I've been trying to do that on the trades when I put my stop and my entry, and it shows that, and it's a good reminder. And I don't always like stick it like 3-to-1 or I really try to there are some smaller trades you can play. But again, I focus more not on the target above, but where I'm going to put my stop. I mean, where I'm going to get out. I mean, because this thing can go to the moon, I suppose. But I do look at resistance above, but most importantly, I look at where I'd put my stop, how far down. This might be the greatest setup in the world, but if my stop is at 10% down here, I won't do it.
Yeah.
I want to try to minimize my risk and loss here. So if I get a nice stop.
Where's it going to go at 10%? Is it going to be a 1-for-1? I mean, I maybe you're different because you have like a lot more experience. But I would never go 1-for-1. I would get slaughtered.
Yeah. Well, that was like that's why I think about this one. I'm setting this target, let's say, all the way up here, which is only 5%, but I'm seeing a lot of resistance halfway there.
Yeah.
It's just not a lot of room to play. And then again, I kind of almost see this. You're starting to get this kind of an ugly, but you're starting to get this also another descending triangle here. You got this flat base here, and then you have this declining trend line above.
Yeah.
And so it could possibly hit there or the moving average, and then I think it's going to come down. So it's just one that just didn't look good to me. ODFL, I like this company. If I can pull it up here. Just, I don't know, same kind of thing. Just doesn't really click with me. Not right now, anyways. Maybe in a few days. I mean, it's a really good company. It's just, again, the setup. I just didn't have the confidence to add it to the list. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
NVIDIA is another one. Let me see here. See, this is already a couple of days ago. See, was it after this day? So this, yeah. So this is I'm trying to
I
remember.
like this one better. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Well, now we got a couple of days movement out of it, I think, and see now it popped up a bit.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember when this made my list, but I guess it was Thursday. So, well, either way, this one I didn't add yet either. So, and then finally LSTR. Where is that? Okay, I didn't like this one at all either. I mean, just quite a steep decline there. I can't avoid that descending downward trend line there.
Yeah.
You know, you could probably play a pretty fair stop. And again, this is back on this green candle, I think, is when I made my list. But you can get a pretty good stop, you know, under 3%, but I don't really know where it's going to go here. I just see a lot of resistance in the way. I would definitely like this thing. This thing might play sideways for a little bit, but I would love to see it get on the other side of this blue line. Break out of that downward channel. You know, and usually when it does that, then it'll go.
Then it'll go up? Okay.
Yeah, well, at least you'll get a little more play in it. Right now, this is, I mean, clearly heading downward.
Right. I mean, do you think it could break out to the downside from there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I just don't like that. I mean, it's come back and hit the support area. I mean, that's always good. So, you know, you can, and there's the 200-day moving average, the purple. I don't know if I'm zoomed out too far. You can see the purple is a 200-day moving average, and that always is usually a fairly strong support or resistance area there.
Okay.
And we're resting right on it, and that's what I like, but I just don't like the short-term downward pullback here.
Yeah.
There's some big red candles in here, volume bars. So this one, I'd rather see it play out a little bit more, you know, more. It's a good, strong company, but right now it's not, and I'd probably give it another week or two before entry. It'll probably give us a whole different setup. So AKRX, this is a good one. I did not play this. I wish I had.
Oh.
Met our target right pretty quick. I actually broke through it. I was thinking that we're going to come up to this line here, and it did pretty quickly. So yeah, so it's AKRX. I didn't play it. Let me zoom out here a little bit. So here we don't really have an ascending triangle, but we kind of have this wedge, or symmetrical triangle, as other people call it. But see, now we're, sorry, I got to zoom in again. I got a big screen, so it's easy for me to see it, and I forget about everybody else. But see, you have this upper line here. Now we broke above it.
Yeah.
So now that's kind of a different game. We're out of that wedge pattern now. Now we're breaking up above that. So looking at next week, well, I would love to see it clear. Next target, of course, is 4175 area.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see it go up, break through that. It might hit resistance there and bounce around a bit.
Yeah.
But now I want to see it make new highs above this area.
Yeah.
And if it does, then the next target's going to be 45 to that resistance.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good one.
Wow. Look at that volume spike back around that first.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd it go here?
Second uptrend. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what the heck happened here on that big day.
Oh no, maybe that was a sell-off. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, earnings.
Earnings.
Beat expectations. Look at that, 26 cents, and the estimate was 22.
Well, remember how BCLI tanked? I know we talked about that briefly, and those were only good results.
Yeah, the earnings, man. I tell you, sometimes it's just there's no telling. And I'm not an earnings play guy. I don't look for them because of that. You can say, oh, I got a lot of confidence. They're going to be earnings, estimates and all that, and that's great. And what the heck?
Yeah, I've been reading about some traders because I just read. I'm too scared to trade a ton, which is good because it keeps me from losing all my money immediately. But
Oh,
a lot of them have been saying that for the earnings stuff, they never hold into earnings. They just they watch the earnings, they watch how it evolves in the open, and if it looks strong, then they might buy in, and they might miss something, but they prevent this wild card element.
exactly. Yeah, you know what I have done? You're talking about scaling. I have done that where I've had a good company and I'm up on it and doing good, and then earnings approaching, and I know I got a few that are coming up. And what I've done, and one of them might be GILD, in fact, maybe in a week or two here if I remember right. But what I'll do is I will sell a good portion of it and leave a little bit there to ride through.
Yeah.
But I'll mostly protect. Let's say I might sell half of it or 2/3 of it, or depending on that. But I might leave a little bit in there, and then of course I'll, if it goes the wrong way, I'll definitely get out. But I'm trying to think which one I did ride through earnings here. It was a month or two ago, and it went the right way, and I got a quick 10% out of it. It popped like 8%. I mean, it went my way, and
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that was a good one. But I mean, yeah, you look at this AKRX, beat the estimate, and it just tanked. But hey, it also provided, that's good news, because now it provided these folks down here a nice opportunity to get in.
Yeah.
And they beat earnings, so the company's still doing well. So that's good.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right, so let me see here. Let's see, this made the list. When did this make the list? Why is it not on my? I don't have it marked in here. I wonder if it was back in here. Might have been back in here. Well, I'm not gonna. I have a lot of stocks to go through. I'm not gonna go try to find out when it was. I don't have it marked on here. This made the list, and I'll have to look it up.
Is that big spike towards the end, the big volume spike, is that green or red?
That's red.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and you get these too. That's what I like to look at those. You get those big spikes, and for a lot of these good companies, you'll see them. And what that also tells me, that obviously those are big purchases, and it's probably a lot of institutional buying.
Right.
I mean, they're not going to go out and just necessarily buy 10 million shares or anything like that. They're going to try to do it so it doesn't drive up the cost too much on them, but they'll see them, and you'll see occasionally these nice blocks coming through there, these spikes, and especially these winning companies like these younger pharmaceutical companies. I mean, you'll see just an outlier, green volume bar, and another one, and I'll read into it, and it's just institutions are just buying it up, and that's.
I think that's so important, because they can make these really clean channels, and you can follow it, and just anyway.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, definitely see those big volume. I don't think it's necessarily always like the retail guy.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if Jim Cramer goes on the air and freaks out about something, and I know when he talks, and he'll say some stupid things sometimes about stocks that are doing really well, and he throws an ounce of uncertainty out there, and people freak out. I try not to watch him. I try to stay away from all that noise. Although in the morning I do sometimes have it on, but I try not to pay any attention to it.
Yeah.
It's all noise. I try to.
A lot of noise. I have a stupid question about volume bars.
Yeah.
The red and the green, all that means is that the buying or the selling dominated that sort of period of time, right? It doesn't really tell you anything other than the fact that there were more buyers than sellers, or vice versa.
That's what it's supposed to, but okay. I've looked at it on different packages.
Yeah.
And that red bar on like Scottrade will be green.
What?
Yeah, and it's always been kind of confusing too. And I've studied volume a bit, but yeah, I've seen it back and forth. But clearly, like on TradingView here, they get it right. I mean,
right.
But yeah, I mean, sometimes you see that. I'll shoot to the hourly and take a look too, because then it breaks it up into hourly, and you can kind of see what's more dominant, I suppose. And yeah, but I've seen it opposite of between packages, charting packages before.
Yeah.
So, but for the most part, TradingView is right. I mean, I've never noticed any issue with it. I mean, looking back at that last one, we had that, like here, I don't know if you can see, You know, a lot of volume there. It went down, but then you go over here, big volume sell, and it's holding
Going
up.
up. Yeah.
But the market was strong then, because this is that big October 15th, 16th dip of the S&P. If you remember there, let me let's see if it'll pop up. Okay, see this.
Yeah.
Same time. So the market was moving. So I mean, a lot of people are riding that.
Yeah.
All right. Up ahead to HAR. What do we got here? Where are my drawings? All right. I think it was just a few days ago. I think we got back in here, and 7th or 8th was when I made the list.
Okay. Are those all-time highs up there?
Yes, I believe it is. It's Hawaiian Holdings. Yeah. So this is the weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, that looks parabolic and scary.
I know. I love looking at weekly charts. Again, it just gives you a whole different perspective, you know, and it's just like, oh my gosh. I mean, imagine getting in down there at 12 and
Oh yeah,
that's
that'd
really
be
nothing.
nothing.
I mean, but that's really nothing though, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
you see some of these others, these pharmaceuticals are down at like, you know, $6 and then they're up at like, you know, 180. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But you know, that's always why it's good too to look at, you know, when you're looking and you're scanning through these stocks, always look at the weekly, okay? Because you'll have these setups and they're very strong on the weekly. You know, it seems that the stronger of a pattern setup they are, the further out you get.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so yeah, if you can find a good setup on the weekly, and it's a good strong company, that's always a good thing. But if let's say you find a nice breakout on the daily chart and you go back and you look at the weekly and it's just looking horrible, well, you know, that would caution me pretty hard there. Even though you might get a quick play out of it, but the company isn't very strong. I mean, I want a strong company, so it's always good to look at the weekly and say, what do we got going here? So right now you're thinking like, okay, well, wow, this thing's done great for the last few months.
Yeah.
You know, and is it time for a pullback now on this?
Probably.
You know, now this yeah, so this sorry, it's zoomed out so far. Yeah, so what do we got going here? We're still holding above this moving average here. So this is the this little one is the 5-week moving average. This green one is the 13-week moving average. What I like to see is it hold above that, and if it holds above that, then I'm really good. The 13.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, but the 5 I kind of keep an eye on, and if it crosses the 5, then it kind of gets my attention. Or if it closes below the 5, like just having a wick go through it, that doesn't bother me. The 5 is just such a quick, obviously, you know, a 5-period moving average, but again, it's just I like to keep a kind of closer eye on it.
Yeah.
So where are we at here? Okay, so now here's the green. See, it's held that 13-day moving average nicely.
Yeah.
Here this day, it didn't, but now we're right back above it again. That's good.
Yeah. That is good.
All right.
But all those long wicks suggest that, you know, yeah, they're fighting it out. So yeah.
Right. ACT. Okay. This one has a drawing on here. I just talked about this in a video the other day, I think. Anyways, this made the list back I think on this day. It's where I ended up drawing the rest of the channel. And I put a little arrow. I said, hey, this is going to go up. Well, no, I don't know if it's going to go up. This is what I was hoping to see. It was break through this channel here. I wanted to see. It took a few days, and it finally did.
Yeah.
But that's what I was hoping to see, was to get out of there. And I was thinking it was going to do it that day, but it took another few days. And then, boom, right out of it. Because I can essentially, I don't think I can draw on this thing. I'm not going to bother. But anyways, and you can continue to draw it like that, something like that, and then finally shot right through it. Now we're out of it, and here we go. And so now we're up testing this area here.
Yeah.
So, yep, that's good. AMGN. All right, I'm not going to take too long on all these. I have a few. All right, AMGN. I don't know where all my drawings are. Already went through here and highlighted when they made the list on the chart, so I didn't have to flop back and forth. AMGN. Oh, on the 7th. Okay, so right here. After this day is when it made my list.
Oh, after that, huh?
Yeah, after the green. At the close. So this green was not part of my play, I suppose. So it's after. So yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we opened above the 13-day, but it failed it, and so now we're underneath the 13-day. So we'll see. It'll probably come back down, touch this, and then we'll see if we can get something out of it.
Yeah.
But I think right now it's down 1% after the pick.
Right. Okay.
ALXN. What do we got here? ALXN. Okay, well here I drew on this one. Let me zoom in a little bit. So it made the list after this little doji here, and what I wanted to see it get above. Sorry, it's hard to see. This moving average.
It's clear.
Yeah, I want to see it clear that, and obviously it didn't. So it gapped down that day, broke through that. So now we're kind of trading sideways here. So I'm not going to adjust this yet. But certainly if I were to play this and it's a few days later, I definitely want to see it get above that moving average.
Yeah.
The 50-day, probably. So, all right. So the other one, this one was interesting. MDXG.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I saw this. This was fun. This looked good.
This got on my radar through FinViz, but please talk.
Yeah, yeah. Well, okay. So it was back. Might have been on this day or this day. NGA on the 7th as well. Okay, so there's quite a few on the 7th. Where's the 7th? 6. So, yeah. And so what I was on, I didn't put a plan together on this one, but again, I'd kind of wanted to get above recent highs. But what I see is this gap here.
It's just waiting to be filled.
Yep. So we might come down, and we'll see if we can bounce off the 100-day moving average here, and then maybe crank up and fill that. But yeah, low price stock. It's at 927. So kind of phone to check out.
And we've got that really nice historical support.
Yep. So yeah, and the moving average right there. So we'll see how we do, and then
awesome.
I don't know much about this company at all.
Yeah, neither do I. I feel like they had. I don't know. I'm not going to say something because I might be misremembering. I feel like they may have had legal issues recently, and that's what caused the gap down.
Oh, I hate that. Here's the weekly. So, okay, well, we're on a nice pullback anyways. So this thing could very well turn and take off now. It's going to continue along. Yeah, interesting. So, and looking at the weekly, I would probably move this support line down a little bit, perhaps. But yeah, so yeah, pretty cool.
So you would look to get in after it proves itself a little bit, yeah, or no?
Yeah, I would think it would come back down to maybe off the moving average here, or this support line in this area, and then definitely I'd think it would go. And let me see.
So you'd get in as it was just starting to trend up off of the.
Well, what I do is what I like to do is I'll look at a previous high. It may not be necessarily a major resistance area, but yeah, I want to see it prove it. I want to see it do something a little bit. So, like with this one, if I really want to play it safe, I'd say.
I'm just wondering what that something is, so I can.
Okay. Okay. So, like right here, the top of this, you can see where my mouse is.
Yeah.
All right. That's at $10.
Yes.
Okay? And then, nice round numbers always act really good for support and resistance. Okay. A lot of people put their orders right at round numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. So certainly $10 is probably a pretty good resistance area for this stock. And then looking left here, you can see that we kind of went down and touched, about $10 or so. Went through it, but we held $10. Now here we're back here. So to play it really safe, I'd want to see this thing probably come up to maybe $10, and then it's going to fill the gap. and at least get you a buck out of it. But if
Absolutely.
you want to take a little bit more of a chance, if this comes down further and we hit the 100-day, then I might want it to come up and reach a new high, maybe above this candle here, 978, maybe close above that. I mean, it's not a lot of room, but the further down we go, I'd be able to put my stop nice and tight underneath here.
Right, because you'd
Hopefully
be really sure that if it was going below, that the trade was doing something else.
Yeah, hopefully, that's the other thing is you put your stop too low, you can get shaken out. You get one of these wicks that just come all the way down to here, and I hate that.
Yeah.
You say, oh, I'll put my stop way down here, it'll never touch, and the wick will come down. There'll be a day, and it'll come down and clean up all these orders, and then the candle will look like this. It'll open and close above the moving average, but there's this long wick, and they just took out everybody's stops, and that's the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind being wrong and getting stopped out. That's what it's there for. But I hate it when they go through and the stock just shoots down 5%. 10 minutes and cleans up all the orders and shakes everybody out. Then it moves up.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's so frustrating. So that's why I never put stops too tight.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really think it's going to go and you want to play it and you want to hold it out, I'll put it under resistance and I'll like drop it, another well, it kind of depends on how much you're willing to go down, but never more than 8% certainly.
Yeah.
But if I say that a good stop is here at $9, let's say, I might go put it down at about 8.55 or just kind of a random number down there a bit, and hopefully they don't come down there and clean it up and shake me out. So, all right, MD. So, all right, so that's a good one. Keep an eye on that one. So EPAM. Here's another one. This must have been on the 7th when they made the list. There's a 6, a 7. So, this is looking good, but now you can see that we haven't broken above the moving average here. So, I think if we can get above the moving average and clear this this high here, we get a good run from at least 49, at least up to here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me zoom out a bit. Take a look at what's going on here. Yep. So, came down and touched that twice. So, let me look at the weekly really quick here. Okay. Yeah. So this looks even better. So you can see we've gone up. So giving you draw these support and resistance lines, they always change a bit, and the candle bodies move around when you're going from weekly to to daily. On the weekly chart, I'd put the support here. So resistance support here. So obviously it went up, hit it, bounced off it, and came back there, hit it again, hit it again. So now you got this ascending triangle kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
On the weekly. Right, so that's always good. I like that. Okay, and then so finally a third time it punched on through, and what I always see, I don't know the percentage, but when you have an ascending triangle pattern, or even sometimes just a straight up breakout to a new high, it'll go up, and it always seems I don't think it's always more than half. I'm not sure, but very often it'll come back and touch it, then go. I mean, just like stairs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really strong ones will just break out and just go, and you'll never see them again. They just they go up 30% or something. But what I always do expect on these kind of plays, when you break into new highs, it'll go up. I couldn't tell you what percentage, but they'll go up a bit, and then they'll pull back and come back and touch the new support line here, and then continue on again. So what I like about this one here on the weekly chart, we went up, now we pulled back. We'll see what next week brings. It could take off from here. But I like that it pulled back a little bit, because I like to always see this pattern. It seems to happen a lot. Jumping back to the daily here, so now you can see this. Here's that line again. Oops, there we go. So you can see this resistance. There's our ascending triangle, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that might be about as far back as it goes, obviously. So I would definitely look to see this thing break above the 100-day moving, or that's the 50-day moving average there, and go. All right. Let me see. Do you let me shift back to the screen here. Let me see. Looks like it's just us here. Got one of the members, Naor, was supposed to be here. and possibly a couple others. But I thought Naora was going to be here. He had a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
Okay, BIDU. What are we looking at here? Okay. When did this make the list? BIDU. That was a while ago, wasn't it? BIDU. Oh, back on the 7th. Okay, so where was that? That was back here. Okay, so I didn't draw my plan on here, but here's the 7th, and so far so good. You can see we're up above the, well, we're holding on the moving averages there. It's a 13-day. Let me zoom in so you can see it. Sorry. Here's a 13-day, so it looks like we're, for the most part, holding it. What I'd ultimately like to see here is to have it ultimately get above 235, break above that area there.
Yeah.
At least above this moving average up here, the gold, the 50-day. So let me look at the weekly here. Okay, so
nice.
yeah, same kind of thing. We kind of went in a new area, pulled back. So now what I'm thinking, hopefully on the weekly, what I'd like to see, of course, would be it to go from there.
Yeah.
So get some funky charts here in the last couple of weeks.
Funky charts.
All right, here's another one. Yeah, so PCYC.
What's that gap down about, or what is that? That's not a gap even. What is that?
No, what was that? I remember when I did the video on this, I looked it up. What's the date on that? 23rd? I don't recall.
What's the ticker on that?
PCYC.
PCYC. That was back in November?
Oh, no, December 23rd.
Oh. Well, that's not helpful. Don't know.
Yeah, look at the. You're probably on a different screen, but look at this date. This is the daily chart going back. Look at this action. This is just ugly.
Yeah.
So what I'd seen here, anyways, was you can see where I had my kind of entry area. I wanted to see it close above before getting in, and I think I just moved it up above that resistance or support line there, resistance, and above the moving average. I don't think I set that to exact penny somewhere, but I just set it there. I want to see it break up above that. It hasn't yet, so it's just going sideways. But here's the weekly. So
interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of all over the place.
Well, even on the weekly, you've got kind of potentially a cup and handle. It seemed clearer on the daily, but prior to
that's true. Yeah, it is true. Yeah, you played the handle. You could have done really well. There from 100 up to 127, 140. Holy smokes!
Wow.
Yeah, there's that low here, 101. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, geez, good 40%. All right, so that's that one, and then finally, this is one I am in right now. Is GILD.
Yes.
Let me go to the daily. Okay, so and when did this make the list? That was back on the 28th. Yeah, okay, so back on the, the 28th was a weekend.
So you got in on this at 86?
No. 96.
96.
So, yeah, so this added the list on the weekend, the 28th. So Friday was the 26th, and then the 29th. So yeah, it was a Sunday. So the next day, it gapped up. And
Yeah.
what I did that day, so it met my criteria, and I had my eye on this one, and it's a good company. So right away it was good, and I already had my trading plan put together. Again, when I look at these stocks, and there's one I want to get into, I don't know if you do that. One of the most important things really is writing your plan together, and it's most simply, where do
Yeah.
you think you're going to get in? I mean, of course, it's going
Yeah.
to vary based on what the market's doing, in a minute by minute, I mean. But, look at the chart and say, where are you going to put your stop? So, I mean, right away when you buy, I turn around and I put a stop order in.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean,
Now,
at least you
now that
have
I
it
do,
there.
but the whole like having a battle plan and like not just where you're going to get in, but knowing before you get in where you're going to get out, that's something I don't do, and I'm starting to do, but I recognize it's important.
Well, that's a good thing with swing trading because you're going off the daily chart for the most part, and obviously you can go to an hourly chart, but that's like what makes it difficult, I think, if you're like day trading
Hmm.
or you're just trading like a dozen times a day, quickly in and out, in and out.
Doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah, it's easy to overlook a plan. At least with a daily, we could talk about it right now. We got till Monday before this thing moves, and
Yeah.
we can study the chart and study the company, and you know, but what I find important, of course, is that I have an idea where I want to get in. I have a pretty darn good idea where I plan to put my stop, and even if I'm a little uncertain, at least I'll enter one in and I write it down. Okay, and then I don't always set a price target like on these graphs I do. In this green box, I'll say, okay, I'm looking at support and resistance and where I think it'll go, but it's not always absolute with me. Like, if I'm expecting 20% and it only goes to 19 and a half, I don't, hold it until I get my 20.
Right.
Um, it all depends on the market each day.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and again, one thing I like to do, and I've been doing more of, is when I'm up and there's some uncertainty and the market's getting crazy, and you know what? Anytime I'll take my money off the table and take my 7%
Yeah.
happily. That's fine.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so often that seems right because then, Greece has issues and ISIS and you name it. Then the market turns and goes down a week, and then looking back, it's like, holy cow, that was a really nice move. Even though I only got 7% or 5%, it's still money. It's still green.
Yeah.
And
And it's real.
yeah,
It's
it's
not
real.
unrealized.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I do. But what I used to do is I'd hold it straight up 20%. So that thing better hit 120 or and it would trade sideways, and now I'm in it for a month. Okay, and
Yeah.
then I'm like, holy cow, now my money's tied up. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
That's the way I used to do it, and I would
Yeah.
absolutely stay within my plan so strict.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I'm starting to think about this, and you would know a lot more. I mean, tons more, obviously. But trying to look at even the stocks I own, trying to look at them as a fresh plan. If I wasn't already invested in it, if I was coming to it with fresh eyes and I was looking at the setup, what do I think the stock's going to do, and what should I do based on that?
yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's really a good thing to do because I mean, even looking at some of these right here today on some of these stocks, when I looked at them like it might have been 3 days ago, right? When they were added to the list, let's say, and coming back even a week later, the chart changes.
Yeah.
And you see it differently.
Yeah.
That's always definitely a good thing to do. I mean, because it's again, it's so easy to get focused, and you might be watching it day to day to day to day, and until you stop and look back at it, or you look at the weekly chart, or you take a different look, you're not going to see the obvious.
Yeah.
It's usually until maybe like you stop out of it, and you might go back and look at it, and you say, why didn't I see those 3 huge volume bars, those
Yeah.
those big down red days, and why you see all these things that would trigger you, but perhaps you're focused too much on, you're looking too closely at it, or yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It's always good to go back and take another assessment of the stock, and you might say, geez, this thing's been trading sideways up and down for 2 months. Why is my money sitting there?
Yeah.
you know yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. So all right, well, here's GILD. So I am in GILD, and so one thing I'm kind of wondering about is, let me zoom in a little bit here. Reason I set this up here, this area 106, was because I didn't base it off this candle here. I kind of almost consider that an outlier there. It kind of had a nice day and then obviously went zero. So I was kind of looking in this area here, and obviously I went a little bit above it. So that's where I'm thinking. But right now we have, we have the 100-day moving average right above here. So if we can clear this, and then we have this channel right here. So there is some resistance above. So I'm kind of curious to see how well we do. If next week is a week of uncertainty and the markets are, this may not be strong enough to push through this, I don't know. We'll see. If the markets are green and market's happy and everybody's happy, this thing could just punch right through there. Or if they have obviously really good news or something. But again, I like to identify any kind of resistance that I have ahead, and this might hit this and trade sideways for 3 days, then go.
Yeah.
So, gosh, so much is based on the entire market, obviously. But, GILD's been doing really well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the market was down quite a bit on these days, and they held up nicely.
Yeah.
I remember, I sometimes I'll log on to StockTwits, and people are having heart attacks, and it's like, dude, it's only down 1%. It's up 9% for the last 3 days.
Yeah.
And like, oh, this thing's going to hell, and it's like, oh my gosh, settle down.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, it's a lot of noise.
Yeah. And fear and hope and yeah. So I mean, again, so when you have your trading plan and you have it all laid out, well, if it's within your range that you're expecting, then there's nothing to worry about. Now, if they come out with a news report that they're hauling somebody away in cuffs for fraud, well, that's not part of your plan. That kind of thing. But if you're in the middle and you're halfway to your where you expect it to go, perhaps your target, and it has a bit of a down day or pulls back a bit on the hourly chart, that's just what it does.
Yeah.
Let the other people freak out and sell, because there's going to be somebody right behind them buying on those little dips.
That's right.
So here we are. I mean, now we're several days up. People had a cow in this area. They did. They thought, and people are like, this thing's going down to zero, and well, all these people are shorting it, and it's just
all noise.
It's all noise.
Yeah. Now, have you tightened your stops to lock in any of your gains? Is that something you do?
Yes, I did on this one. I did it quickly too. No, I did. I put it. It was down here.
Yeah.
Let me see if I have it written down here. I actually had it. Yeah, it was down here, and that's not exact to the penny, but it was underneath this. Yep, underneath this bottom one here by a little bit, and I've since moved it up. Right now, I want to say it's above the moving average. I think I put it somewhere. Oh, I put it back to break even.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Sorry, I did it really quickly. No, I did. I brought it back up to my break even, which is it's not really under any support, because usually I'll try to find the next bit of support and put it underneath it. That's why I'm thinking I probably put it here or maybe underneath here.
Yeah, but no, if it tanks enough to get there in a day, it's going south.
Yeah, I like to protect. I want to make sure I'm in the green, and if this thing turns, I want to at least walk out with 1%.
Yeah.
Better than -1, So. Yeah, I mean, obviously. So I will do that for sure. That's the other thing is, you talk about a trading plan, is I'll identify what my break even is, considering commissions as well, of course.
Yes. Yep.
So like, I had $1, well, break even's at $1.05 or whatever it may be, and then that way for sure. You clear it, then you can, let it run and then raise your stops as you need to. And
yeah, exactly. I started factoring in the commissions to my risk reward today, and I felt good about that because it needs to be there. They're such a huge percentage of what I'm investing at this point.
Yeah. I was watching a guy, always some guy on Facebook or something, and he has a website, and he's an options guy, and he's showing his trades that he had done in the last week or so, and he did all right with them. I mean, he had some winners, he had some losers, but it showed his commissions.
Yeah.
His commissions on an option, it was like $10 to buy, and then when he sold, it was like $30. Like $30, and he's only playing with like a couple $100. And I'm like, 30 plus 10 or 20 to get in. I was like, are you crazy? What are you?
Yeah.
I don't trade options, but those commissions killing him. And he gained.
In other words, he's got to get 15% just to break even on the stock.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
I mean, seriously, just insane. I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, I don't trade options, but I'd definitely be looking around. I mean, $25 to sell. What the heck?
That's absurd.
Yeah, and he actually got a good gain out of it, but counting the commissions, he broke even to zero. That's what he.
Yeah, no, exactly, exactly. That's just, it doesn't make any sense. Have you heard about this new Robinhood app? Have you heard of that at all?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
I found out about it today. I was just curious.
I think I signed up for notifications on their early list. It must have been a year ago, and I still haven't got an invitation. I think people are trading under it, but apparently I haven't made the list yet.
Maybe they're trading the beta, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't remember where I was listening to it, but I was reading about that they're probably, somebody had suggested they're playing they're trading it against everybody. I
What do you mean?
What I'd heard it from was these guys who pretty much know the I'm trying to think the order routes, how the orders are handled and how they're passed from person to company to company, and so like Trade King, for instance, I have an account with Trade King.
Me too.
And it stinks. Okay, orders take a while to get filled, and the variance is too much. I mean, you put in a stop at say at $21, and I've had stops. My stop would close out at, instead of $20, like $19.40, and it didn't just absolutely tank where they couldn't get the order filled.
Yeah. That's no good. Does Trade King have any level 2 options? I feel like it doesn't.
No, it's pretty weak, but you really get what you pay for, I think. And
yeah,
I mean, you put a stop in place at 20 for a reason, and then you lose. I want to say I had a stop and it closed like another 2% below where I had it. Wow. Now on paper it was like, what the heck, or not just on paper, the real results. And and I understand when a stock, if it gaps down in the morning and your order doesn't get filled or the thing just tanks, like if you're playing pennies, that would happen to me. Well, for one thing, I could never put stops on pennies. I used to have an account with Scott Trade, and they didn't allow it then. And you're really dealing with pennies. But if a stock just absolutely tanks, 40% in 6 minutes, okay? Yeah, I understand your order at 20 is not going to get filled. You might, or at $2, you might get it filled at $1.30.
Yeah.
But when you have these other stocks and there's a lot more volume, and looking at the chart, it didn't just absolutely tank. I mean, you had a good red candle, but I think it's not acceptable to.
Yeah, no, that's
somebody played me. Somebody played me.
I've liked Trade King and had good experiences so far, but I am looking to move. Have you looked at Interactive Brokers?
No, I've known about them, but never really looked at them too much.
It just seemed like one that might, well, it's at least worth investigating. I would do them, but they have some constraints in terms of your net worth, and I don't meet the minimum requirements. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did hear that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Trade King, they just here recently. I don't know if you remember when. Cuba, remember they had the news that
that's stupid Cuba.
Cuba stock, CUBA.
Yeah.
Man, I was market opened and I was gonna hop in that, and all of a sudden Trade King is offline. The website went down, and it was down.
That is not okay.
I know, and it's easy to look back and say I would have made $100 or $1,000. I mean, but really, no. I mean, I was like, I had my plan ready to go. I was waiting for the pullback in the morning. It opened up strong. It was starting to pull back, and the website went down. And so, 9 Pacific time, so the market's open at 6:30 in the morning.
What if you had money on the line and you hadn't placed a stop yet?
Yeah. Or
And
how
it's in
about
that
if
kind of
your
volatile
stock's
environment.
tanked? What if you're watching on CNBC, your stock is plummeting and you can't log in? They didn't get it up till like 12:30 in the afternoon, like 6 hours later.
Oh,
I'm not kidding. And so you should have
I know.
seen
I
all
know
the
you're
people
not
on
kidding.
Twitter. Yeah, and so what then they did is everybody's like, we better get a bunch of free trades out of this. Of course, they don't offer any free trades. I've never gotten a free trade from them. I've been with them for years.
Yeah.
But the other thing is what they did the next day. They said, okay, if you could show us, you could document what your trades would have been. They were actually leaning towards like they were going to try to find a way to reimburse you for your lost trades. I'm like, what? How could they possibly do that? Oh yeah, sure. I was going to put $30,000 down on Cuba for a $2 gain. I mean, what? That's really what they're gonna, and they're gonna honor that?
Yeah.
No, it was crazy. There was a lot of very, very, very upset people.
How
And
do you like the community options there, like the groups? Do you ever do any of that or no?
no,
Okay.
no, I just I don't even their app. I don't like it.
Right.
I have an iPad. I don't like it. I just use their just the web trade from the website, and the website's a mess too. I have a hard time navigating around with it, and it's just I got to get out of there.
Yeah.
I'm willing to pay more, and I still have accounts at Scott Trade. I might go back over to Scott Trade.
Well, I mean, check out Interactive Brokers first.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing that they have against them that everybody says is they say that the user interface is clunky, but I'm pretty sure there's an option to test drive it first, and I would really check them out.
Okay. Cool. We'll do. Should I run? You want me to run through some of these that are kind of on the watch list? I can shoot through
I'd
them
love
really
to
quick
spend into
here.
that, and I'd love to hear what you think about some of the things that I'm watching right now. I mean,
Oh,
obviously nothing this detailed, but you know, one or two.
yeah. So that's an apple. Um, in a nutshell, with my stocks that make my list,
Yeah,
I go with the best stocks I can.
yeah.
So that's why I don't play a lot of penny stocks anymore, because usually, because frankly they're priced that low for a reason, because they're
You
not
mean
making
best
any
in
money.
terms of the fundamentals?
Yeah, yeah, and as far as growth, investor interest,
Yeah,
um, sales growth, all that. I mean, just fundamentally strong companies with a strong institutional interest.
yeah.
Where the money is, I want the best of the best. I want all the winners on my team. You know what I mean?
Well then, you should look to short some of the ridiculously overvalued, shitty companies.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Um, yeah, I agree. I don't short though, but doesn't
Oh,
mean I'm
okay.
not into it. I mean, no, I just never have. I mean, but doesn't mean that I never will. Yeah, I guess I've always tried not to. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I've tried to keep it simple and try to master one thing. And
Yeah.
yeah, do you ever trade options?
I am not sure if I'm interested or not. I'm definitely interested in learning more about it.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at, and it's kind of the same thing.
I
Kind of a little
need to find
sketchy about
out.
it.
Yeah, I need to find out for me if it's because some people are saying it's like a zero sum. Like I found out that futures is definitely zero sum. Like if you sell something, it's
Mm,
if you make money, it's because you're selling to somebody, you're selling it to them on the wrong side of the market. And
yeah.
I thought about that, and I was like, this is a game for assholes. I don't want to trade futures. Fuck that. Um, and I've heard something similar about options, but it doesn't seem. It seems also quite different. So I just need more info.
Yeah, yeah. And you've probably seen advertised the binary trading.
Oh,
See
I
that in the
have.
bet?
Yeah.
That's oh my gosh. I was reading in that a little bit. I'm not going to quote anybody, but they're pretty much straight up. That's gambling. I mean, that's flip of a coin. People are losing their butts. People can make some money, but there's no certainty in it. I mean, it's
No, just go to a casino.
yeah,
Gee,
yeah, it is. That's what the bottom line is. It's gambling. I mean, at least
yeah.
with the
Buy a
markets,
lotto
stocks,
ticket.
we can increase our confidence and with technical analysis, and we have fundamentals. We have the market. We have different things we can different variables and different factors to determine our expected outcome in that. But with that, it's a flip of a coin.
Yeah.
It's yes or no, and it's just pretty much straight up gambling. But
No, I would never do that.
Yeah. All right. So here's.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
No,
was
I
just
was just saying I'm liking risk reward. That's something I started doing recently too. And honestly, there was a trader in there in one of these books I was reading who says, you know, you get 5-to-1 risk reward setups on the market every day. And I was like, well, hell yeah, I want to do that. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, why not hold out for, 8-to-1, 10-to-1 if you can get it?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll
Yeah.
just shoot for the. I got a bunch here, but I'll just go through them quickly because, yeah,
I'm
because
sorry, I've been slowing us down.
no, no, not at all. No, not at all. I'm in no big rush.
Okay.
Uh, so, and these stocks, I think I'd posted them a few days ago. So if you've seen them, I can just move on. But I'll just shoot through them really quickly here. And these are a couple of days ago. So this Apple, I think it hit the watch list back in here, just off this, after it bounced off the support here and the moving average is what got my attention. But, kind of like those other ones that made my list as well, you can see you kind of have this, looks like it's forming a descending triangle pattern,
Yeah.
But it's Apple. It may not. It's probably going to punch right through this and go. So, but what I liked about this was if you take away that upper trend line, it went and bounced off support here twice. So that's kind of what the play I liked about it.
Yeah.
Next one was Baba. Now yeah, I don't know about Baba, but as you can see my drawings on here.
Yeah.
Get off the support area there, right at 100. Nice solid number, nice round number.
Yeah.
Um,
So that's a downward channel that you drew there?
yeah, and then we kind of broke out of it, didn't go
Yeah.
very far, and then back down to 100. But you get the 100 support resistance area. 100, nice big round numbers are always really strong, and you can
Yeah.
see that here. You kind of played around it here, broke through it, came down, hit it, came down, hit it again. So, hey, if it's a good solid floor and it's solid, well, of course, you'd think it can only go up.
Yeah.
So, and I suppose by now we could probably probably do something a little different. I don't know. Yeah, take that back. All right, so I forget my drawing. So, anyways, that's just kind of on my watch list. Just keeping an eye on it. The other one was IDTI. Come on. I use this trading view, and it's been slow the last couple days. I write it down wrong. Transpose a number. It's not ITDI. IDTI. Coming up, so I'll move on. I think we already talked about BIDU, didn't we?
Briefly, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that was on there, and there's a repeat. ASX was another one. And what I'm going to do, too, is, come on. I'm going to, like the premium picks list, I'm going to have a spreadsheet on there with all my watch lists, because I'm going to start posting more watch list picks. And I was talking to a couple people as well. They're like, you got more than the premium picks list. How come you're not posting your watch list? And again, with the premium picks, those are ones that I really like and I have a lot of confidence in. But there are others, so I'm just going to post them. And and again, these are very, very strong companies. And so really, it kind of depends on your setup. If you want to know what the
Yeah.
All right. I don't know what's going on here. Where did the SX? So LSTR. Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't know what oh, I see. I know what that's for. Sorry, my dad just came in to give me something, money to buy something with. Like, I can't think of anything worse that could happen while I'm on the internet with a friend.
Hey, that's all right. Tell him hello.
Yeah. Landstar.
Oh yeah, LSTR. Again, it's just a watch list. This would come down and hit this support area here, and I did draw on this one. It's not a premium list, but again, this what I wanted to see was closing above into the green. Hasn't yet. It's just kind of, you got the support down here, the 200-day moving average. So we'll see what it does. Just keeping an eye on it.
Yeah.
And you got O'Reilly.
Oh, auto parts?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, what's going on?
I like them.
All right, this isn't loading yet. Sorry. What's going on with this thing?
I'll be back.
No, don't do that. All right.
Okay, what are we looking at?
All right.
I remember this one.
Do you?
Yeah, it's flipped on my radar too. I forget why.
Sweet.
Maybe it was trending on StockTwits.
Oh yeah, probably. I think it has for a while. But
Yeah.
anyways, last couple days here, it's done really nice.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, we've got a 20-year-old cat, and her health is sort of
Oh
failing.
no.
Yeah.
20 years old. Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, she's okay. It's not a crisis, or I wouldn't be here.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, that's CAVM. So, CAVM. So obviously we are. Well, I'm not in it, but I think it. I was watching this back here. So last couple of days done really well. So what I'm looking at now is definitely get this break above 64. Let's see if it can get new highs there. Let me zoom out a little bit. So yeah, probably draw a nice upper trend line here at the top. So yeah, looking good.
Yeah.
All right. EFT. Okay, this is wow. Okay, so this one obviously already broke through since then. You zoom in. So yeah, this I don't know. We were back in here a couple days ago, but obviously it did break through. So we'll see what this does.
Yeah.
What I would think it would do is I don't know about this candle. It might go up a little bit, but usually again it will come back and touch support here. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We're into. Let me look at the weekly on it.
So you would look to pick it up at the next bounce?
Well, it's usually when it breaks in a new high ground up here.
It flips.
Yeah, I mean it could just continue straight up. It may not pull back a bit, but that's all kind of. If I miss it, I'll wait for the pullback. But I mean, the pullback may just consist of this one candle here for Friday. I mean, it kind of depends what the market does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think. Usually, um, when breaking out into new areas, I usually think kind of an unwritten rule is if I do want to buy it and it's like right now a little bit late, as long as it's within a percentage or two above this line, then it's okay for me. That's
Well,
just
that line is at 34.37, and it looks like now it's at 34.73. So I think it is.
yeah, and I mean, 'cause I don't like to chase them after they've already broken through and they're running because they're only going to pull back.
It's not running. It just looks like a run on the.
Yeah. So.
And especially like you were saying, that could be the pullback, especially with the kind of bear market we had Friday globally.
Yep. So now that we're above this resistance support line here, and so now you could really want to put it tight. You could put a stop just down here at 34.
I might do that. I don't know.
Well, then the other thing too that I like to do when you talk about having support and resistance at nice round numbers.
Yeah.
Is so let's say you say, okay, I'm going to put my stop in at 34. What I do is I put it just under 34 because it may come down to 34 and bounce off it, because again it likes round numbers. So sometimes I'll shave off 37 cents or just a round odd number. So instead of putting it in at the stop at, let me zoom in. Instead of putting the stop in at, let's say 34 exactly, I might put it down. In fact, I might put it down here at 33.89.
Yeah.
And
I don't get shook out.
Yeah, and I have that 13-day moving average above me then. You know what I mean?
Ah, that's right.
I just don't stick right on even numbers. That's where everybody seems to put their orders. And I like to put mine a little bit underneath it, and I don't mind losing another 36
No,
cents.
exactly. Everybody, all the analysts seem. So I'm holding SPG right now. I picked it up at 192.8, and all the analysts are saying, "Oh, 200," and it's like by the time 200 rolls around, unless I see something that really suggests further consolidation, I'm going to be long gone.
Yeah. So it's at 196.57 right now. Where'd you get in? Back here on this breakout?
192.80. No, it was the breakout had already happened. I got in at 192.80.
Okay.
And it was just the only reason I got in actually is because it was one of the companies that you listed in your all-time highs with strong demand still.
Yeah.
So I actually went through that list and I picked out 3 companies that I bought shares from. And then actually I bought shares in VASC, VASC, which has been running really nicely. And I got into that because Trade King's analysis or whatever was suggested a bullish flag formation. So I was like, okay, cool. And I looked into it and it seemed sound. The technical, everything seemed sound. So I think I got in at 26 something. And
nice.
I actually got stopped out on Friday because I tightened it up to like 28. So I stopped out just under 28 because I didn't like the way it was trading and I thought it was going to tank. But really, it looks like everything, especially with how the global market was on Friday, it looks like it's probably going to maybe run up into 30, 31.
Yeah, see, I don't know if you can see. See, look at this high, this previous high of what's that, 28.94. Well, at least I play the bodies of the candles more than I do the wicks as far as support and resistance. But that's just me. But anyways, but yeah, so you're already above. You closed above that area here, so now you're already in a new ground here most recently.
Yeah, so it may just keep running, but that was my first winning trade. I think I made like $5 or $10. I at least covered my commissions. So.
Oh, good deal. Yeah. Yeah, and of course, looking back here. So did you get it on this day or was it this day?
I think I got in on Wednesday. I think I got into all of those on Wednesday.
So that would be the 7th. You said 26, and so
26 something, yeah.
Yeah, sweet. Okay. Well, obviously too, and then you broke up through all these moving averages here.
Yeah.
At least that's the 50-day.
Anyway, I'm happy to be out. There was a lot of legal snafu, and I think that's what contributed to that big gap down that you see in that huge red candle. They were under legal investigation because the CEO, I guess, had been marketing, or the company had been marketing products which had not been approved by the FDA, or at least that's what the allegations were. Seriously, this is a medical company. As soon as I found out that, I was like, well, shit. And so if I'd been totally like 100% ethical, like ethics above all costs, I probably would have got out right there. But I was like, nah, I'll just let it run. And then as soon as I saw a good exit, and I didn't like I said, I didn't really like the way it was trading. I was like, okay, this is a fine time to get out and never invest in them again.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you got some gain out of it and then you move on. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. All right here.
And you know, they may not have been true, the allegations, but I don't know. Seemed sketchy to me.
Yeah. All right here. What is this? NetSuite. Okay. I'm going to jump over to somebody was seeking a few. Again, I kind of told you about some pennies that.
Yeah.
Lower price ones, really not pennies, I guess, depends how you define it, but
less than $5.
Yeah, I think they're less than $5. I'll show you what is salt. So now, again, when you're playing pennies, this is often the charts you're looking at.
This was Thorgood? Was this Thorgood?
No. I think on StockTwits, I think she pointed it out or something.
Yeah. No, I
yesterday.
saw it off yours. Yeah.
Yeah, well, in pennies, this is often what the chart looks like, because penny stocks are always losing money, it seems. You know, so they're always downward. But a lot of people like to play these bounces if they can. But I mean, again, it's just I don't do them anymore. But you know, you'll get these companies that'll come down, and then they'll start to form a nice little base. Those can be attractive. And if there's any stock like that, one that's lower priced, I'll call them. Again, not like true pennies, not under $1. I don't think I'd ever really play again. But you get, you know, under $5, between $1 and up, let's say. But they get them and they come down and they start to find support and they start to form a base. Well, then those actually do have some potential.
Is this the daily?
Yes, daily.
Oh man, I like this.
Okay, so what a real common play is, and what I would do is, it's hard to see. Let me see if I can.
What kind of average volume does it get?
2.7 million.
Shit, I might play this.
Yeah, and that's probably, I don't know if it's a 10-day or 30-day volume, 20-day moving average on the volume. Okay, so I tried to fatten the candles up here just so you can see them a little bit better. So anyways, here's we come down, we've kind of found this support here at, you know, where are you at, 184, you know, and somewhere in here.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it's come down, touched it twice, and then we got this breakout here. But looking where we hit 170, well, this low 176. Look at the volume. See?
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know if there was news or what.
For true support.
Yeah, there's a lot of volume there. So, anyways, so what looks good? What I would do is I'd wait to find new highs. So if you were to find this back in here, I think it was a couple of days ago. No, it might have been after this day when I pointed it out. This green candle was there, not the red one. But you're starting to find new highs. So look at this little short candle here, back here on the 23rd. I would definitely wait for it to clear that and start making new highs. And so we're above that now. So we'll watch next week, and this thing could just start climbing back up again and try to make some sort of. But it's not just a quick, you know, it's heading downward and it just kind of does this little short-term bounce. We've come down here and we're starting to kind of find a base now. So that's kind of what I like. You know, so now you can at least, now you have a little confidence in putting a stop. If you could play it, you do. At least you know, hey, it's come down to 170, 180 area, and it's been trading here for the last month sideways. That is a little, you know, pretty hopeful, I guess.
I like it. If it looks like it's coming into play next week, or you know, for the foreseeable future, I might pick it up.
Yeah.
I like that it's more than $2 because Trade King really punishes you for trading anything under $2 a share.
Oh, okay. So an AMTH. What is this one? Okay, let me fix my chart here. What is this here? What's going on here? Because this is the daily. Why is everything so goofy looking here? All right.
Whoa, that is a long wick on that green.
Yeah, boy. So I guess what caught my eye here was certainly the volume. So we were kind of trading sideways here for a bit, and I don't know what the news was here. Again, I don't follow this company. Then we broke through.
Yeah.
You can see where my mouse is here. There's kind of a support area there. We've hit it a couple of times over there on the left
And
at
that's a
150.
great illustration of what you were talking about earlier with the support not being precise. Because if you'd set your support at 150, you would have got stopped out during that little rundown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then, but now we're actually moving. So this one's actually moving, and I don't know I didn't spend time to see what the news was, but it definitely broke into new highs, and it's just been going. And now we cleared above the 200-day moving average.
Yeah.
So why is my chart all funky? Anyway, well, we closed at 263. So let me zoom in again. So better yet, let me look at the weekly, see if we see anything. Oh, here's the weekly. So this thing was just trading at 67, and I don't know what happened. Yeah, I don't know what happened here, but boy, look at the volume here this last week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now that's a gap down by like 50%, 30%. What is that?
I wonder if it did a reverse split or something like that. But I think usually
that is terrible.
This trading view, usually if there's a split, you usually don't see it because it doesn't really affect the chart. You know that you might see it immediately, but when you look at a chart, you don't see it when it does a split. It doesn't just automatically double in price necessarily.
Yeah.
They'll adjust the price because a lot of stocks, will split, every so often, and they don't just show huge gap ups all the way or gaps down.
Yeah. So this is the weekly, yeah?
Yeah, this is the weekly.
Yeah.
So, again, these candles, I don't know why the candles are so hard to view in this.
It's just frightening to think that a stock could plunge like that off of, who knows off of what.
Yeah, I don't know the story. When I saw this, I was familiar with ANTH. I mean, I've definitely seen it around. I'm like, why is it so low? It's not a penny, because I don't hang around pennies or anything like that.
Yeah.
And that's why, because it was trading and probably a pretty good ranked company for a while there, but I don't know what the news is. But anyways, this thing's moving into new ground. It just cleared above the 200-day moving average.
Awesome.
So that might be a good support area there under the 200-day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that one.
So if you saw it come back to the 200 and bounce, you might get in if there was a good.
Yeah. Again, it's a little too cheap for me.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I try to play with the absolute best stocks I can. Just to provide a little bit more certainty, even if it might go down, like GILD. Awesome product, awesome market, everything. So even if it does go down 8%, I know it's not going to go to zero. It might pull back a bit, but at least if my plan is thrown out the window, at least I know it's trending upward on the monthly, the weekly, and the daily. I have everything going my way. Right. If I just time it wrong by a few days, who cares? At least, and then that's why I won't put my stop more than 8%. But if I put my stop at 8% and it absolutely turns on me, it might pull back 6%.
Yeah.
And it'll get my attention, but then it'll turn and then continue and just. Yeah. And then those are the kind of companies too that if you really wanted to hold for a year or two, you could. These are the same companies that if you look back, they've made 150% in the last 12 months, 16 months. These are really good companies, and that's the kind we want, right? I mean,
well, depends on if you're going long, it is.
Well, I mean, but even if you want to let your winners run, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like say GILD right now, I got in under $100. Okay, it's at like 96.30, I think I got in. Okay, well, that's great. And so let's say I reach my area my target or area I want to get out, and I sell half of them.
Yeah.
And I might just keep half of it there and just let it run out.
Yep.
I could put a trailing stop on it and just let the thing run forever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's just one thing I could do. It's a winning company. That's, like ANTH here. I mean, I would never let this run long. I mean, it could be at 50 cents in a month. I don't know.
Yeah, it could.
I just try to. The reason I want to, increase the odds that I'm going to make money and reduce the risk that I have out there. So that's why I want absolutely the best stocks. I want the best setups. I want the best market. I want everything, and that is going to ensure my success. And so I would never get that with pennies because this penny stocks are losing money all the time. Well, not all of them, but I see they're priced at $1.50 for a reason. I mean, the markets determine their value.
True. They are there for a reason. I have a divergent view on penny stocks, but I agree with your points. They're good points.
Now, startups though, they can start. A startup company, they might start off at $5 in an IPO or 10, and then go down a bit. Now, they're not all necessarily bad, but sometimes you look at these pennies. And I look back at stocks that I played, 10 years ago, or even more than 5 years ago, and I'll look back at them, and I'm like, what the heck was I thinking? It's like 35 red candles in a row, and I decided to buy one in the middle of a red candle. I'm like, why would I buy there? And from whatever reason, I was influenced, noise, I don't know what it was, but...
Well, now we can profit from your experience.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyways. Okay, so that's ANTH.
No, really, you help other people not make, those...
I sure hope so. That's my whole intent. Yeah, I was just noticing... What's up with my chart here? Kind of got a cup and handle going here.
Ah!
Look at that. All right, sorry, my scale's all whack. Let me zoom out a little bit, and you can see here. Whoa, look at that gap down. Okay, so.
Whoa. Oh, damn. See, that's so interesting. Okay. That kind of thing fascinates me. How does it happen?
Oh, jeez.
Crocs back in 2007, like within, they gapped down from like 70 to 50, something ludicrous, I don't recall, but it just began this downward trend, and they went from 70 to trading in like $1-2 per share within the space of like 6-8 months. It's insane. So if you had shorted up at 68 and you had gotten out even at like 10 or 5, I mean, that kind of thing is just fascinating to me.
Yeah, and this is healthcare, so this could have been a product FDA axed it, or denied them. Who knows? I mean, these pharmaceutical companies, I don't play a lot of pharmaceuticals. Some people play just pharmaceuticals, but that's crazy. I mean, the FDA can come out and say, no, go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
And spend another $100 million, and the thing could tank 50%. It's just, but it could also, if FDA gives them approval on a trial, it could go up 50%.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Anyway,
I just dislike qualitatively pharmaceuticals, but that's just me.
All right, well, obviously we got this big gap down, so I mean, looking at this, I don't know if you can see my line here, but call that resistance right there, perhaps. You see we almost went up and touched it and then continued downward, but now we're going for new highs. So this 188, so I look back at there, I definitely want to see it clear that. We just about are. Yeah. But if you really want to know for sure, wait for it to clear 192.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're almost there. Here's a moving average. Definitely want to get above that. But this thing could just go back up. I mean, again, this gap down could be temporary.
Yeah.
It could be just short-term bad news, and the market freaked out. Okay? So, I mean, whatever the reason is, it doesn't mean that it necessarily will reflect a long-term valuation of the company.
Yeah.
It might be bad. Like a data breach, okay? Yeah, they just lost their data. Well, they still make a good product, and they now have to spend some money to, secure their systems, but they still are making tons of money. They still are a strong, you just never know. And so when you see these companies and they gap down like this on news, I always wonder, is it short-term effect or long-term effect? I mean, if it's Enron and, they're all guilty of, fraud and embezzlement, yeah, that's bad news and long-term bad news. But if it's because Jim Cramer said sell, and it gaps down 20%, and I'm like, no, the fundamentals are there, and he's an idiot. You know what I mean?
But this one gapped down 50%. It gapped down from like 420 to like 205 or something. I mean,
so I mean, I don't know, but right now it's starting to make a comeback, and there's that nice gap to fill here. I mean, and we're starting to make new highs. It's not just a little bit of volume.
Yeah.
Not that much volume, but look at it. I mean, the market's saying, hey, this is worth more than 125.
Definitely.
People are starting to come in and buy, and boy, if it really, especially if it clears above 191,
where
are you going? You're going up.
Yeah.
You could possibly
I would have to know the reason for the gap before I would even consider getting in on that.
Yep. All right, and then the last one I have here, ZGNX. Are you Canadian?
People ask me that. It's the way I talk. I don't know why. I'm from Indiana.
Oh, okay. Well, the reason I ask is because like on the site it'll show like when you register what country. I don't know if it's from your IP, and there's a few Canadians on there as well. I know for some reason I thought you had a Canadian IP address or something.
Maybe I do. Maybe the universe is trying to tell me to move to Canada.
Anyway, instead of Z, I was going to say Z because the Canadians call Z's Z. So I was going to impress you with that one. ZGNX. Okay.
Consider me impressed.
Okay, so here's this one, and you know I did just a quick look at these. But what I liked about this was, let me zoom out a bit. Again, downward, and now we kind of finding a base here, and we're going to find new highs. That's pretty much what I see here.
Awesome.
See what I mean? And that's just why I don't know anything about the company. He just wanted me to, if I had an opinion on a couple, and again, this one's $1.45, not really a true penny, but you know, again, we kind of found a base here, and look at 143, 142, 148. And here we are, we're testing that area here in the last week. You're kind of, we break through this, what do we got? You know, you can easily call, you know, up here to the 200-day moving average, and then beyond that.
At least, yeah.
Let me jump to the weekly, see what we see. Doesn't show the gap in the weekly, but yeah. Anyways. Oh, this one actually looks really good. Wait, no, there is no gap. What am I thinking? No, it definitely descended down for quite a while. But anyways, we're starting to get new highs after forming a base here, so that's what I like.
Another pharmaceutical?
Zogenix, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it looks like a really nice play, actually. That's actually kind of tempting.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
And see, like, what I've done too, and I don't do these, is I've actually sometimes played these, and you know, I'll throw like $100 at it, $200 at it, just see what it does.
Oh yeah, just
Yeah, just not that I have hundreds of dollars to throw away, certainly.
No,
but yeah, $100, whatever, and you know, if you think it has room to go, then you know you're going to easily clear your commissions, and then good. I'll check on it in a couple of weeks, and you know, not like you're really going to throw down serious cash on it, but this is one of those that I'm definitely keeping an eye on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, and again, let me look at the weekly again. I don't know anything about this company, but you know what? This is the weekly. I guess they've only been in business since 2010. But hey, you never know. They might start kicking out some product and getting some sales here, and then you could say you got in at 145. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
It all started somewhere. So, all right, that's pretty much what I have.
Awesome.
So, wow, we're hitting on 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's good.
Maybe I'll ask you those questions over like email or something.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, I mean, certainly that's why I was saying that, you know, if there was a question you didn't want, because do you mind if I post this video?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay, so yeah, if you have any kind of personal anything like that, we'd do it offline, you know, certainly. But
no. I mean, I've got a position in Meru at the moment, which was kind of an impulse buy, which is stupid.
MARU?
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching this and you don't know a lot about stocks, which I guess could happen, don't impulse buy. It's dumb.
You say it's MARU?
Oh, sorry, MERU, Meru.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you see that big gap down and that big green candle up, but there's really no historical support because we opened just a couple of years ago. So what I did was I got in at the tail end of that green candle, and then I sort of panicked and was like, at the end of the day, you got to watch what it's doing on the daily. Can we look at the daily?
Oh, this is the daily.
Oh, sorry, the intraday.
Oh, okay, so 1 hour maybe. Okay, so
Okay, so really what it did after I got on is it just traded sideways in an extremely narrow range,
Right
and
here.
it's not that it's one of those penny stocks where there's no volume and liquidity and it's not doing anything. It just traded sideways in this tight little range. So I look at it,
Yeah,
and
look at those.
I look at it with the bands on it, and I think it's got every possibility to. It's this tight little Bollinger Band channel, and I think it's got every possibility to break out on Monday. But I will tell you, I did try to panic sell it at the end of the day, and failed because the bid prices were dropping, which of course made me panic more. But then I was like, it's a learning experience. Chill out. Don't sell for 313. That's just stupid. So I've got to stop at 3.1. And I don't know. I don't know if you have any thoughts on the subject.
Well, I mean, yeah, that is some. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really seen that much. I look at this, I immediately thought no volume.
You immediately thought what?
Volume. I thought no volume.
No volume, but it's got volume.
It has volume.
It's actually got a fair amount of volume.
And there's no wicks even.
There's no.
I mean, you think it's like a full-on battle, and they just, you got.
No, it's not budging, I mean, it budges like it got up to I think 3.22 during the day, but it was like 3.19. It was ticking up and down a little bit, but it just I don't know what it's doing, man. It scares me. It's interesting.
Holy smokes. I mean, no, this is a 5-minute, okay, and they're nothing but that looks like no volume, but why is there volume? And it didn't even budge the price.
No, there's volume. People are buying and selling, but it's like they must be selling on fractions of a penny because it's not. And you would see the price tick sometimes to some fraction of a penny, but otherwise it was just staying solid.
Huh. I mean, looking at the price action there and the volume, that defies all basics of supply and demand, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd expect some sort of range in.
Oh, the market's rigged, man. I mean, I'm sure you know this being an experienced trader,
Yeah.
but the market's definitely rigged. It's just a question of figuring out the ways in which it's rigged and letting it, sort of serve you.
That's
But yeah,
weird.
basic supply and demand, it makes no sense.
No, I mean, you expect that volume.
No, the market's rigged, man. I'm just trying to figure out how it's rigged here. Is it going to break out on Monday? Somebody has set some well, I don't know if it's as simple as somebody setting some arbitrary cap for the stock based on the fact that it gapped down in such a huge way, which again was market manipulation. Well, whatever, it might not be. I have a lot of conspiracy theories about the stock market.
Yeah, well, see this big candle, the big volume here, that's only 2,000 shares.
Oh, that maybe it's just poor visualization then. I don't know.
And look at this next one next to it to the right, it's only 100 shares. But still, I mean,
Don't know. Looks like people to me hanging on to see what happens. So if for some inexplicable reason it gapped down again Monday morning, I'm sure everybody would be flying for the exits. But anyway, it was a dumb buy. I got on late. As I said, there was that big upward trend that day, but I got on at the tail end of it. And it was an impulse buy, and my position size also for an impulse buy was inappropriate. But like I said, man, learning experience.
yeah, and that's the number one thing to get from it, obviously, is the learning. I mean, holy cow. So yeah, the volume, it just has no volume. The average volume is 119,000. And this last day was only 67,000.
Wow.
Yeah, one little rule I have, and it fluctuates. I used to not trade anything that had less than 500,000 average.
Yeah.
And
No,
then,
I've got a rule for 200,000 now, but I don't know. What's your rule now?
oh, I've bumped it up to like 800. I mean, but usually not going under 500.
500,000. Yeah. To make sure
on the average. I mean, just because
you want to be able to
sell,
Yeah.
if you need to. And there was one time, it was years ago, that I got in something. It was a penny, and it had no volume, probably like this, and it wasn't going right. I wanted to sell, and I couldn't sell, and I want to say my sell order was sitting there for an hour or two, and that seemed like the longest hour, and that thing just kept ticking down, and I couldn't find anybody to buy it. And then it made sense. Oh, that's why everybody's going on StockTwits and pumping stocks, because they're trying to find a buyer.
Yeah.
Basic element of that, and it made sense, obviously, because
Oh
that's how
man,
people
I'm
jump
really
in
sorry.
stocks
That's the
because they're trying to
worst
get out.
feeling in the world.
Yeah, that was about as worse as Trade King being offline, although I
Yeah.
wasn't caught there. But yeah, no, I mean that's yeah, you have to be able to sell if you need to, and if you get something that's so thin and you don't have any, you're just at the mercy of the manipulators, I guess.
Yeah. No, it was dumb. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I hope I don't do that again.
No, I don't think so. I mean, right now, if you're already saying, well, you already set a minimum for your volume, that's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
You know, there's so
Yeah,
many
no, you're
people
right.
that learn this and they don't even realize that's why. They don't
Yeah.
they don't even review their trades. They say, oh, this sucks, you know, and they lose their money and they don't spend the time to look back. And you know, again, looking at the volume, I didn't look at the actual number. I saw the volume bars, and it, you know, of course, it looks like there's volume, but looking at it, there's only what I say right now. It's averaging 119,000. That's
Yeah.
not much volume,
Yeah.
but you'll probably never do that again. You'll probably
No.
never trade above your less than 200,000. You said, right?
The what? Oh yeah, 200 I think, but maybe I'll look at 400, 500,000. Those are good numbers. But if it starts trending up on Monday, you know, I'm not going to be greedy. I think I'm going to just try and if it looks like a solid upward trend, you know, I may try and get out at 330 or something, but I'm not going to hold on for more than that for sure. And maybe I should just try and get out immediately. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh man, sweet.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. It's
Totally.
3 o'clock. All right.
But thanks a lot for talking with us.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. And so, yeah, we went over quite a few of them today. So, again, we'll see what happens next week. Yeah, that's always the big factor of the week is Monday morning waking up, and I'll look Sunday night, kind of see what we're looking at, and hopefully the markets, we don't have any too much economic or political uncertainty out there in the world, and markets are good. And then on the website, you mentioned the my list I post of the new highs of strong demand.
Yeah.
I'm going to post that list every week now.
Okay.
And a few others. I'm just going to throw them out there, and I'll still have my premium list, of course, but I'm going to throw others out there for people to look at, and I'm also going to somebody had suggested also doing like an alert when some of these premium picks hit, like let's say I wanted to close above a certain point, to kind of have an alert go out. And then one thing about that is I don't really do day trades necessarily, where I need up to the second alerts to everything, but I still can do that when a premium pick or a stock is suddenly open and eligible for entry according to my plan, at least. So I might try to come up with that, and then if that's something you're interested in, you could subscribe to it. And but I got to work on that. It's going to take some coding or something here. So yeah. Oh, man. So, awesome. Well, thanks for your input, and
thanks a bundle.
The video today, and we'll do it again, and then if you want to chat sometime offline about some other stuff that you're doing that you don't want publicly shown to the world on YouTube, just get a hold of me, and we'll do it.
Yeah. No, I'd love to.
All right. Go Seahawks.
Go Seahawks.
All right. Well, have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks, Ryder.
See you later. Thanks,
Eric.
Eric.
Okay, everybody, we're out. Thanks a lot for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.